October is packed with turning points. From a full moon in fiery Aries to Venus moving into its home sign of Libra to a plethora of Scorpio energy, we are focusing on power, on our partnerships, and we are leaning into transformation hard body this month. All right. So if you want to know the details of the astrology for the month of October, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, my name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this video is going to detail the astrology for October 2025, week by week, so you know exactly what to expect and when to expect it. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so let's begin at the beginning. And we open up the month in a major kind of way with a full moon in the sign of Aries, and this is happening on October 6th. All right, so no need for to be alarmed or scared. This is a regular full moon. It's not an eclipse. We're done with all the eclipse shit for now. Not for another 6 months anyway, but we're done with that. This is just a regular full moon in the sign of Aries. However, it is going to pack a punch because Aries is a very fiery and intense sign. Now, Aries is very much concerned with our independence and our autonomy. And with a full moon being illuminating and culminating, this could really have to do with the ending of something and simultaneously the beginning of something else. Remember, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it kind of opens things up. And since a full moon can kind of signify endings, this full moon could be an ending and a beginning all in one, and feeling motivated to start something new. This full moon could also be really enlightening in terms of your sense of self, your autonomy, your body even, or maybe even something enlightening about something you've started recently. Now, keep in mind, the energy of Aries can be quite volatile. So during a full moon, hence, they talk about lunatics. Lunatics has a lot to do with lunar, typically full moon or when all the crazies come out, right? Aries full moon can be really combative. So it's really important that you be mindful of how you speak to people, how you let people speak to you, fights, arguments, violence, even all the things. But like I said, full moon in Aries definitely packs a punch. But I want you to understand that that full moon is going to illuminate or enlighten you with respect to your power, your autonomy, or perhaps maybe where you need to dial back your energy. Aries can really symbolize like physical force. And if you've been putting physical force and effort into something, this full moon can show you either, yeah, keep going, or nah, you don't need to waste your energy on this anymore. So really enlightening, really powerful. That same day, October 6th, we've got Mercury moving into Scorpio. Now, we just had Mercury in Libra, and Mercury in Libra is gregarious, it's talkative, it's social, it's charming, it's all that Libra-ness. Mercury is going to get a lot darker once it goes into Scorpio, okay? And this is where we really heed our intuition. This is where our minds become wired to the truth, finding the truth. Scorpio, along with Virgo, I'll say, these two signs are very much the private investigators of the zodiac. Scorpio is the ultimate detective. And when you've got Mercury in Scorpio, this is really about finding the truth of something, doing some recon, some surveillance, and really trying to understand what people are saying in between the lines, right? What they're saying, but not really saying, okay? There's a lot of mysticism, a lot of magic even with Mercury and Scorpio, especially with the way that you speak and with the way that you express yourself. Not only that, Mercury in Scorpio is a position of power, kind of. There is the power of persuasion with Mercury in Scorpio. Now, when I talked about Mercury in Libra, that's the gift of gab. That's being charming and very above board, very Libra-ish. But once Mercury goes into Scorpio, this is the power of persuasion. This is you talking to people and getting them to do things without directly saying it, sort of reeling them in a very mysterious sort of way. So you may want to polish up your powers of persuasion once Mercury goes into Scorpio. And again, that's happening on October 6th. Then the next date on October 13th, we've got Venus moving into her home sign of Libra, or at least one of her home signs. Her other home sign is Taurus, but on October 13th, she'll be moving into Libra. And this is all about beauty, aesthetics, socializing. So Venus in Libra is keeping that Libra energy going this month. It's going to give us or urge us to really be social with people, to find the beauty in things, to seek balance, harmony, and peace, particularly in our relationships and with respect to resources. Okay. Venus in Libra is very social, it's very communicative. And so, if there was ever a time that you wanted to mend relationships, maybe even form new ones, because Libra is a cardinal sign, and cardinal signs are concerned with starting or initiating things. Venus in Libra is great for starting new relationships, mending perhaps fractured relationships, and just generally enjoying beauty, peace, and harmony in life. Okay. Then that same day, Pluto will be going direct into Aquarius. Now, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius was really having us focus inward, right? Perhaps changing our mindset, our subconscious programming with an eye toward the future. Now that Pluto is going direct in Aquarius, I want you to pay attention to wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart. This is where there is an active transformation happening, and you're going to start to see that happening externally, okay? So this is perhaps the way that you express yourself, the way that you think, your vision for the future is undergoing a transformation, and that may be due to external circumstances, external happenings. Either way, Pluto is really on a mission right now, a mission to the future. And now Pluto is going to be a lot more extroverted, a lot more potent. And again, wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart, this is where you're going to experience that transformation in a profound sort of way. And again, that's also happening on October 13th. Thereafter, on October 21st, we have the new moon of the month, which is happening in the sign of Libra. And so, with the new moon in Libra, this is the time of year where we get to focus on being booed up, where we get to focus on relationships. So, if there's a relationship that you want to start, now you're going to want to look at where Libra is in your natal chart. It doesn't necessarily mean that this relationship is romantic. Could be, doesn't have to be though. This could be a friendship. This could be a networking partner. This could be a coworker situation, a family situation. If you're looking to not only manifest a new relationship in your life, but maybe restore balance to a certain area of life, the new moon in Libra is going to be for you. Okay, so that's going to be your time to focus on all things relationships and starting something new. Then the very next day, the sun moves into Scorpio, things get intense, and Scorpio season begins. And this is when we sort of descend into the underworld. This is when things get dark, they get intense, they get heavy, they get transformative, right? It's no coincidence that Halloween falls during Scorpio season when things are witchy, mysterious, dark, intense. Y'all know how Scorpio season is, and it's not just about Halloween. It's about transformation, the cycle of death and rebirth, the cycle of change, the cycle of profound change. That's everything that Scorpio has to offer. And Scorpio has a lot more to offer than that. But wherever Scorpio is in your natal chart, not only is it going to be activated, but this is the area of life where you can really impact change. And the fact that one of the ruling planets of Scorpio, Pluto, has just gone direct the week before. Oh, that energy of taking a wrecking ball to something and then starting something brand new, breathing new life into something, that's going to be extra potent. All right. So, wherever Scorpio is in your chart, get ready because that's where things are going to get intense and transform, hopefully for the better. Then that same day, Neptune, which is already retrograde, is going to go back into its home sign of Pisces. And this is going to give us a sort of spiritual reset. This is going to allow us to get all of our spiritual ducks in a row before Neptune makes a permanent move into Aries in a couple of months. So if there is some subconscious programming that you really want to eradicate, if there's some spiritual practice that you really want to get into, Neptune going back into its home sign of Pisces is going to give you that last chance. It's like that last call for alcohol, right? Where you can really make some changes, where you can really tap in before it's time to go out there and, really fight that spiritual warfare that's going on. All right, so that's going to be dreamy, ethereal, and very spiritually based. Again, that Neptune retrograding back into Pisces is really like a spiritual reset. And again, that's also happening on October 22nd. And then finally, we close out the month on October 29th with Mercury moving into Sagittarius. So earlier in the month, we had Mercury moving into Scorpio, which was deep, intense. It was our descent into the underworld, into hell, essentially. Not in a bad way, but you got to take the good with the bad. And Mercury and Scorpio really had us immersed in that. And when Mercury makes a move into Sagittarius, it's going to be like going from the core of the earth to the upper stratosphere. Mercury in Sagittarius is going to renew our optimism, our faith. It's going to have us seeing the bigger picture and feeling really good about it. It's our time to explore. It's our time for wanderlust. It's our time to expand our mind. Now that we've understood the truth of things with Mercury and Scorpio, Mercury in Sagittarius wants us to soar to new heights mentally, communication wise, and how we express ourselves. So we end the month on kind of a high note with Mercury going into Sagittarius. All right, my loves. So that is the astrology for October 2025 in a nutshell. So hopefully by this point, you've watched the themes for October. Clearly, you're watching this video with the astrology for October. And in my next video, I am going to talk about how to even use this energy. Because it's one thing to know it and understand it. It's another thing to use it. And I will be detailing all of that in my next video. All right, so let's keep the party going, and I'll see you over there.